All right, let's look at one more example of completing the square. Whew, okay, let's see. Now, in this case, there is actually a difference because the number in front of the variable is negative. So let's see what happens there. Okay, p squared minus 18p, and then we don't know what, so we're going to leave some space, equal negative 33. Okay, so what is this what? First, we're looking at what's the number in front of the variable. That's your b. So b here is negative 18. The next step is to divide it by 2. So divide by 2, negative 18 divided by 2, that's negative 9. And finally, you're going to square whatever you get, and negative 9 squared is the same as 9 squared, and that's just 81. And that's the number that you're going to be adding to both sides. It's important to remember that you don't just add to one side, because then the equation is not going to be balanced. You have to add over here, and then you have to add over here. Once you do that, the left-hand side becomes a perfect square. But the square of what? Okay, let's see. We're going to put something squared. Then it's going to be the variable, which is p. Then whatever is this sign, that's going to be in here. So if that sign was negative, this is going to be negative. And negative what? Well, look at your intermediate step when you divide it by 2. That was 9, right? So this is where we stick the 9. Now, what happens on the other side? Well, you got to compute it. What is negative 33 plus 81? Okay, well, it's the same thing as 81 subtract 33. Yes, I can do it on a calculator, but I'll do it here. So this is 8, and then this is really 7 minus 3, that's 4. So 48. Okay, the final step is to take square root of both sides. And we do that by applying the square root to the left-hand side and the right-hand side. Why do we do that? Because the square root and a square cancel out, and then you will get p minus 9 equal square root of 48. Now, remember this, that when you take the square root, you actually get that square root of property that says you don't just get a positive square root, you also get a negative square root. So this is actually plus minus, okay? Now, how do we write the final answer? Well, there'll be two of them. So we're going to get p minus 9 equals square root of 48. That's one answer. And the other one, which by the way, okay, so let's just add 9 to both sides. So that answer is going to be 9 plus square root of 48. Never try to combine the number and the square root. They're not combinable. And then the second answer is going to be negative square root of 48. And then when we add 9 to both sides, we're going to get 9 minus square root of 48. That's going to be our second answer, okay? Now, here, I hope that the computer is not going to make you what they call simplify the square root. Hopefully, it's going to be okay with just leaving it as square root of 48. Later, you are going to learn that square root of 48 can actually be simplified possibly, but I don't want to get into that. So these are your two answers, and you should be okay with that.